You are listening to Hilary Topper on Air, the small business podcast to help you grow both personally and professionally. And now, here's your host, Hilary Topper.
Brain aneurysms are often called silent killers because they typically show no symptoms until they rupture, leading to life-threatening conditions. It's estimated that about 6 million people in the U.S. have unruptured brain aneurysms, and every 18 minutes, a brain aneurysm ruptures. I'm Hilary Topper, and this is Hilary Topper on Air. Today, we are joined by two remarkable individuals who are deeply involved in raising awareness and advocating for brain aneurysm prevention and support. Erin Kreszl, the executive director of the B Foundation, and Tricia Scobey, a survivor of a life-changing brain aneurysm, are guests on today's show. Tricia is also the race director of an upcoming race series that we will discuss a little bit later on. So, Erin and Tricia, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you, Hilary, so much for having us.
So let's start with you, Erin. Can you share the mission and vision of the B Foundation and how you became involved in it?
Absolutely, thank you. So the B Foundation for Brain Aneurysm Prevention is dedicated to one thing, and it's to prevent brain aneurysms and find aneurysms prior to rupture. We do that a few different ways. We do it by funding preventative research, mainly pilot studies that are able to identify an aneurysm before it ruptures. Two, we advocate on policy on Capitol Hill, and we do that by increasing funding at NIH and developing best practices at HHS and CDC. We provide awareness across multiple different platforms and have considerable amount of followers across the globe. And then support, which is a critical part of what we do. We provide support to anyone who has been touched by an aneurysm, whether you're a survivor, a family member, a caretaker, or someone who has lost someone to an aneurysm. And so the B Foundation has been around for 10 years. It was started 10 years ago after my sister and I lost our cousin Jennifer Sedney to a ruptured aneurysm at the age of 27. And so we founded the organization with those four pieces of our pillars and the intent to prevent brain aneurysms.
Can you talk a little bit about some of the key initiatives and programs that you focus on?
Absolutely. Our preventative research grant is really the cornerstone of who we are, and that was how we started. We started with really identifying who are the major leaders in the neurovascular space, and so those are doctors that treat aneurysms. And we formed a board and developed the preventative research grant program. And so to date, we funded over $500,000 in research, and 20 grants. Will be funding another 5 this year, which is really exciting. And those grants look at many different things, such as identifying a blood biomarker. So you could take a simple blood test and identify if you have a brain aneurysm or if you're at risk of growing them. But what we've really seen in the past 10 years is the world of research changing. And so there is a lot of genetic research, and now we are able to basically extract the cells of an aneurysm while you're doing an aneurysm treatment surgery, and then better try and understand the genes that are associated with aneurysms, because there is a familial risk component that is not widely known or widely understood. So that's what organizations like ours are so critically needed, because we fund those startup grants at the amount of 15 to 25,000 and get research started so they can then apply to NIH. So that's been our biggest program to date.
One of the things that came out of a discussion that I had recently was that brain aneurysms have a genetic component. Like if one family member had it or has it, it tends to run in families. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So the research out there basically states that if two or more family members have an aneurysm, then you're at a higher risk to develop one. I think that two or more number is still being researched, but there's been a study at Yale. It's the longest longitudinal research study for 30 that's been going on for 30 plus years, and it's identified that there is a genetic component to brain aneurysms. Now, finding that particular gene is what is being worked on now. But the most important thing to know is if you have a family member, then you absolutely need to advocate for yourself within your primary care and then a neurologist to get tested for an aneurysm. The best way to do that is through an MRA with contrast. But some kind of new research that's coming out is let's really look at those young adults and even 20, 30, 40-year-olds that have a genetic or have another family member with an aneurysm and understand their genes, because they're going to identify better than the older population what the genetic component are, because you kind of eliminate that risk of hypertension and smoking and other lifestyle risk factors, if that makes sense.
Thank you. And Trish, talk to us a little bit about your story and what the role of the organization, the B Foundation, played in your recovery and ongoing support.
Sure. So I'm a brain aneurysm survivor. Hard to believe it's been 3.5 years. I was in what I thought was the peak health of my life. I'd run 8 miles the day before my rupture, so I really felt like things were good. But I passed out foaming at the mouth, fortunately found by my daughter immediately, rushed to the hospital, and had surgery to stop the bleeding. I have had 3 brain surgeries in the past 3.5 years. And I can officially say that my aneurysm is no longer there. So that was quite exciting news at my last appointment. But I found the B Foundation 3 months after my rupture. They had asked me to write a blog, my story. So I wrote that. But I recognized that I really wanted to do more. So I started talking with Erin, and over time, our relationship has grown and what I have done with the organization has grown. But I realized that part of my healing process was telling my story. And the other part of my process was giving back and trying to find a way that other people wouldn't have to go through what I went through. So I go to support groups so that I can talk with other people who have experienced the same thing as me, which was amazing to learn that I wasn't crazy with some of the things I was feeling. Made my symptoms much more normal. The other thing is I'm a runner, not a great runner, but I'm a runner. And I wanted to be able to use that. And there were a couple of races already that were fundraising for the B Foundation for aneurysm prevention. And we talked about creating an umbrella, and we got all the races together and added some new races and started a race series in September because it's Brain Aneurysm Awareness Month. So I've been very involved in that for 3 years now.
I want to get back to that, but talk a little bit about how your life has changed since surviving the brain aneurysm. Like what differences have you seen or not seen?
There are so many. I don't even know where to start. First of all, I'm going to tell you, I can only tell you what I know because I don't know what I don't know. So I'm sure there are other issues I have. I just don't know them unless someone points them out to me. I had to learn that I'm on a new path in life. I think we all have this plan where our life is going and what it's going to look like. And we all hit stumbling blocks. Everyone in our lives hits a stumbling block. This one was a little bit bigger than most. And I had to learn a new trajectory, and I had to learn that that new path was just as exciting and just as good as the old path. So eventually there was a lot of acceptance of the new person I am that I had to go through. And again, kudos to the B Foundation for giving me the support to be able to find that new path and recognize that I still was going to have a great life even after the rupture. So that was huge for me, but I have short-term memory issues. I'll have a conversation with my partner, and he and I will talk about something, and the next day he'll start doing it, and I'll be like, well, why are you doing that? Why didn't we talk about that first? He goes, but we did. And I'll get really frustrated, because I can't remember the conversation. And because I can't remember the conversation, I'm frustrated at what he's doing. So that is one of the issues I have. I have a hard time with numbers. Can't keep them straight. If I have to schedule an appointment, I have to put it in my calendar at the moment while I'm on the phone with the person scheduling it, or I won't remember it. As soon as I hang up the phone, I'll forget what it is. I'm exhausted. I live with being exhausted 24/7. And then there are times where I hit a brick wall, like I can't explain. I just have to stop. I was never a patient person, but now I'm really not a patient person. I am much more emotional than I used to be. And I get overwhelmed in situations that I never was overwhelmed by before. And I kind of chalk that up to, oh, you're getting older or this or that. But when you talk to people of all ages within the community, you learn that no, these are really issues that we all struggle with. So those are the deficits that at this point I know about. As I said, I don't know what I don't know yet, but it's hard. I mean, working every day, it's hard.
Definitely. Thank you for sharing that. Before we move on, I want to just say that I'm so appreciative of our sponsors. Must take the time out to thank them. Please support our sponsors and tell them that you heard about them on Hilary Topper on Air. Special thanks to the Russo Law Group, Long Island Signature Estate Planning, Elder Law and Special Needs Law Firm, and Buddha Bath, a natural bath and body care company that offers a wide variety of products, including body butter, bath bombs, soap bars, and sugar scrubs. Now back to you two. So, Erin, you talked a little bit about the resources and support that you offer to both, I guess, victims and their families. Can you talk a little bit about what that actually is?
Absolutely. So our support program services are twofold. One is we have one-on-one, virtual support groups that are sessions. We have 3 a month or 3 different types. One is a broad aneurysm support group. It's all over Zoom. We have 2 sessions on the first Tuesday of every month. And that is where anyone who has been affected, it is primarily survivors of aneurysms join that call, and they're able to share in their experiences and find things out about people and really find that community that Tricia was speaking to. And it's just a wonderful group of people that offer that support that, quite frankly, does not exist many places today. And then we also have a caretaker support group and a bereavement support group for anyone that has lost somebody to an aneurysm. And again, those are led by a moderator, and they're a really safe place to come together and get support. The other part of our support is online. So through Facebook, there's tons and tons of a dedicated support group through Facebook. And then we offer every single Monday. It's called Motivation Monday, and it's a platform where people can share motivations for the day and then also share their story. So as Tricia mentioned, she found us and was able to join our Share Your Story program. And so we have hundreds of people that send in their stories, and we post it on our blog, and people are able to find like-minded stories. And it's just been a great way for people to move through their rehabilitation process of telling their story, and also finding others that are going through similar things. And then the third aspect I'll talk about is if people have the desire to go a step further and raise awareness through an event or fundraise, then that is another kind of facet of support and kinship, because they are bringing together their own network, telling their own story, and they're either honoring what they've been through from as a survivor, for example, or they are memorializing somebody that's been really close to them that has been affected by brain aneurysms. So we give them that platform to do that and make it easy for them to connect with their friends and family.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that. So Trish had alluded to the race series. So let's talk about the race series. I'm going to be doing one, but I'd like to hear a little bit about some of the others around the country.
Absolutely. So Tricia, do you want to talk about it, or do you want me to?
I'll share that with you. So, I mean, I can talk about my two races. So, I lived up in New Jersey when my rupture happened. So I do have a run up in New Jersey, which is nice to be able to keep it and to honor my, as I like to call it, my brain fart. So that is my race up there. And I moved away, but a dear friend of mine has taken on the responsibility to head that race. So that race goes on in New Jersey, and then my race this year is down in Charleston, South Carolina. It's where I've moved. I wasn't sure if I was going to do it, but when I started sharing my story with the people who live in my community, so many others had also been touched by brain aneurysms that they encouraged me to do it down here as well. So I do have a race down here as well. But the race series is really, for some people, it's a timed race. For other people like me, it's a race where you're just getting together, being able to share your story and bringing awareness about some of the statistics and some of the short-term memory issue, recall, some of the things that you need to be aware of that could be signs of aneurysm rupture. So I find it, again, so important to educate people through this race series, because it is an opportunity to touch so many more people about what is a devastating disease.
Yeah. And the grand plan, which Tricia, myself, and another colleague, Laura, had developed, was the Bee Foundation had a few different races already that had been done over the years. One was the Rita Skirtish race, which is up in Vermont, that Elizabeth Rada heads up. One is the Annie Mira race in Connecticut, that honors Annie Mira, who passed away from a brain aneurysm. And it was bringing all these races together under the same hat, and using that to exponentially raise more awareness and create awareness, especially across the social platforms, with all throughout the month of September, people seeing you know, the same taglines, the same pictures, the same t-shirts of people raising awareness. And the beauty, we think, is that however you want to get involved, you can. If you love the idea of putting together a huge time race on and getting massive amounts of people from the community and having running and walking and medals and a timer, then we help you do that. We have a race in Staten Island, the Brittany McCarthy Run Walk, that does that. There is the Carolina race in North Carolina that celebrates Ellie Hilton and follows that platform. And then we've got a lot of things in the middle. We call them informal races, but it's basically, let's get a group of 10 people, 20 people, 50 people together and coming together at a particular meeting spot and having a path and running a 5K together, doing a walk together. And, you know, you're still getting all of that energy and vitality and awareness of people coming together. But you have less of the formality of a time race. So that really fits for people. And then we have the virtual race, which is basically you can run it yourself, you can create a team, and it's September 8th of this year, and people sign up, build a team, and you know, grab your best friend and get out there and run or walk a 5K, walk around the block, or you get a team together of your family at all different spots and you coordinate a time and you go out there and run and post pictures. So again, and then lastly, we have people that, you know, that run the Chicago Marathon or run we had someone that did a trail hike last year and do a formal run and fundraise. So it's obviously about awareness and building community, but it's also one of our best fundraisers throughout the year. We raise over 50,000 from across all of our races each year. So it's a really great way to support all of our programs and especially research.
And
That's
one of the
awesome.
things, I'm just jumping in, sorry. One of the things I really love that's happening this year is that I think for many of us, like I said earlier, those of us that have experienced a rupture, we get very overwhelmed. And so within the virtual race this year, and Erin touched on it, there are survivors who are getting together a team of people so that they can move as far as they can, because we have some people who a mile is way too far for them. So they're able to put together a team under the virtual race and do what works for them so that they can still honor themselves and bring awareness to the group of people that are joining them.
Great. And I am doing one as well on September 14th. It's going to be at Heckscher State Park, which is all the way out on the Southern Parkway, and it's right on the water. It's just a beautiful spot. And I'm doing this in honor of my sister Lori, in memory of her. She passed away from a brain aneurysm in 2018. And in terms of my event, I'm going to be having medals that are beautiful. We bought these medals. I got them in already. They're butterfly medals, and they're just beautiful, and they just say my sister on them. So I'm really excited about these medals. Everybody's going to get a t-shirt with the B Foundation and all the race series and lots of different swag that the B Foundation will be, giving out. And everybody who joins these races are able to create fundraising pages. And if you want to bring in a little bit more money, or if you want to give some more money to the B Foundation, it would be amazing. I think so far we've raised about $2,000. I would love to raise more than 5,000. I'm hoping that I could get the people, so come on out. We also have a virtual option for my race on the 14th. So if you're located anywhere around the country, you could join join in and just run. I have a friend from Detroit who's going to be doing it, a couple of friends from Miami. So we're going to get some exposure that way. So talk to us about like how, you know, these 5Ks that you're having and the fundraising and all that kind of stuff, that's specifically going to research. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I mean, all of our funds go to support kind of the programs that we do, but our biggest program that we do through our funding is research. So correct, they go to support the next year's research grant series. And so we have a few different things throughout the year. Some of our paddle races at our events go towards that research program. And then also families can make a restricted grant specifically to a research grant, either over time getting up to the $25,000 mark or by making that donation at once.
Awesome. Now, how can people join these race series like what the Lori Weiss Memorial Fund Run? You know, how do people sign up? No matter, I mean, I have listeners around the country. Like, how do they see
So
where to sign up?
yeah, so you go to www.thebfoundation.org, and at the top there is a events header, and upcoming events lists the race series. And or you can also just type in the B Foundation race series and you'll be directed to our site. On that site you have what look like a series of tiles that show all the different races and locations, and you click on that tile, it'll take you to a site where you can register. And from there, you're either running as an individual, you can join an existing team, you can create a team, and basically the process goes through where you're it auto-populates and creates your own fundraising page, and you can share your story and share that with your friends and family.
Yeah, and I think what's awesome too is one of my friends in my running group, she just signed up for the Lori Weiss Memorial Run Walk, and she shared it on her Facebook page, you know, with the link, you know, I'm supporting Hilary and, you know, etc. And it was really, really special. So you can also do that. You can share the link on social. So the other thing I want to ask you about is the sponsorships, right? So you have sponsorships for these races as well. Could you talk a little bit about them? I'd love to, you know, to get potential sponsors involved in this race series. If not my race, I would love that. But, you know, they could probably underwrite the whole race series if they wanted
Right.
to. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So we have two different types of sponsorships, either sponsors that want to support the entire race series and get exposure for their business across all of the races. So for example, the one I love and have been a supporter and sponsor for years is Mari Mix. It's a brain aneurysm survivor founded company of snack mixes, and they are featured at every single one of our races. But the other great opportunity is for each of the individual races. So, you know, Tricia, Hilary, for your races, there are different levels of sponsorships at fairly attainable levels for businesses where they can support in the, you know, $200, $400, $500, $800 levels to have signage and at that particular event. And especially with races, it's just a really great community builder and a way to lift up local businesses for these events. So kind of depending on the level and how many, then it kind of would define what the particular signage is. But it's definitely all signage at the event, and all of the pre advertising gets corporate sponsorship placement as well.
And I want to shout out to Mount Sinai Department of Neurosurgery for being a major sponsor of the Lori Weiss Memorial Run Walk, and also Auntie Anne. They're going to be giving out pretzels to everybody, but we'll have food and other things there as well. So just again, could you give the information on the B Foundation for, and also the race series?
Absolutely. So the B Foundation is the B Foundation for Brain Aneurysm Prevention. It's a organization that serves the entire nation, and we raise awareness, provide advocacy, fund research, and offer support. And we have many opportunities of ways to get involved. And the one we're really talking about today is the race series, which is going on throughout the month of September and into October, with about 9 races that you can join either in person or virtually throughout the country.
It's so awesome. It's so exciting, and it's a great organization and a great cause. So please just sign up. Just go to the bfoundation.org, sign up for one of these races, maybe mine, hopefully mine, but any one of them. Tricia has amazing races. I mean, they're all amazing. So, and they all go toward a great cause. Thank you again, Erin and Tricia, for being on the show. I'd also like to thank our sponsors once more, the Russo Law Group, Long Island Signature, Estate Planning, Elder Law, and Special Needs Law Firm. For more information, visit vjrussolaw.com, and Buddha Bath, a natural bath and body care company. For more information, visit buddhabath.net. And last but not least, I want to thank you, our listeners, for tuning in each week. If you want more information on this show or any other show, visit our website at hilarytopper.com, or you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Alexa, you name it, we're out there. Have a great week, and we will see you next time.